there's so much raw talent in the UK. You know, with certain groups of society not really being fairly represented, I don't think it's a fair representation of the talent that we've got here. Things can tend to become a little bit watered down, maybe a little bit commercialised. What you've got to remember is that drum and bass and jungle music is born of black music and culture at the end of the day. And if you're not including those groups of society, you are actually messing with the formula of the music, and that's I truly believe that in my heart, and that's why I will always rep my beautiful black queens in this industry, is because that's where it came from at the end of the day, and we have to respect that.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Real Junglist podcast. Today, I am joined by Sisterhood Birmingham and two members in particular, and their founder, Cam, who will be on to talk to us later. But I'm joined so far by DJ Chillz and Ekstatic. Welcome.
Hi.
So lovely to have you here. I'll let you introduce yourselves and give us a bit of a background about, you know what you're doing at the moment, and tell us who you are.
So I'm Chillz, I'm 24, I'm from Worcester. I started DJing in 2020 in lockdown. I think a lot of people started then, to be honest, just because obviously we had so much time. So my first set was in November 21, and I've just been doing what I can to, break through and just enjoy the music that I play, really.
Amazing.
I'm Ekstatic, 24, originally from Kent, but I'm now based in Birmingham. I'm DJ, vocalist, currently started producing, been mixing for about 5-6 years now, supported Goldie, played at the Commonwealth Games last year, joined Sisterhood, and we've just been flourishing ever since.
Nice. And so how did you both meet? Did you actually meet through the Sisterhood?
We met through Sisterhood. Well, I knew of Chillz, but we properly met through Sisterhood.
I think we just saw a story that Cal posted, and then it went from there, really. I think we were one of the first people to go on it. And then we met through that. But I knew of Ekstatic.
Nice. So founding members we have here, it seems.
Yeah, pretty much.
Brilliant, love it. So I mean, I'm going to ask a question and you can both take it in turns to answer. So maybe Chillz, if you go first. So you sort of talked there about how you started DJing during the lockdown period, which, like you said, a lot of people did. What sort of inspired you to get started as a DJ? Like, where did that idea come from? And was it something that you thought about for a long time, or was it something that just literally came up during that lockdown period?
So D&B has been like a massive influence in my life since I was quite young. So growing up, I was influenced by my big brother, and we had an 11-year age gap. Unfortunately, when I was 10, he passed away, and I think after his passing, because I was so young, I subconsciously was just madly in love with D&B. I went through all of his CDs all the time, on like his big sound system. Mm-hmm. And then lockdown came, and I thought, well, why not? And a lot of people said to me, they were like, oh, I think you'll do really well, like you've got the ear for it already. It's just been like a massive part of my life, since I was quite young, to be fair.
Nice. And what did your parents think about it? Did they enjoy the music as well?
My mum doesn't really like D&B, to be fair. My dad doesn't mind it, like the more mainstream stuff, like the less heavy stuff. But I think he's definitely proud of me. So
nice. I love that. And it sounds like there's an element there of the music still giving you that connection to your brother.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, absolutely love that.
Well, I've been mixing for 5-6 years now. So my sister started DJing before me, and she started supporting big names like Nicky Black Market, Garth, and I used to go with her. And it was just, we've always like been involved with music, but then like seeing the crowd's reaction, seeing her enjoying it, it was like, yeah, that's something I want to get involved in. So I asked her to teach me how to mix. It was one of those cases of like, why aren't I good at it now? Starting away like straight off. But yeah, got involved with that, and then had a little bit of a music break, deciding what I wanted to do. Then came to Brum, applied for uni, really started to push my name out there, and it's just taken off ever since. Just finished uni, and playing at Maid Festival for third year in a row. So
wow,
you're doing something right. So yeah, enjoying it.
brilliant. And so I get, so what was it like to actually learn? So I guess Chillz, you learn in lockdown. Was that at home or remotely?
I bought like the DDJ 400s. I think everyone, when they first start mixing, they literally just like switch stuff and yeah, it sounds sick, but it doesn't. Like, it sounds so bad, like, but you just get so gassed off it. Yeah, like it's one of those things. I'm sure, like with producing as well, which I want to get into. It's one of those things where you're just so bad for like quite a while before you're like, okay, I'm getting a bit better now. But yeah, it just comes with it, really.
Yeah. And how did you learn? Was it something that you were just doing at home by yourself, or did you do a course? I don't know how people get into it.
I think, yeah, I just literally got the controller. I just watched, like, I binge like YouTube videos and stuff. Like, even before I got braces, I was like watching loads of videos on like people getting braces. I'm a bit weird like that. So yeah, I just watched like loads of videos, and then yeah, got my decks, and you just like kind of throw yourself into it, and you learn the hard way. I think since I've had Sisterhood around me, one of the members, Courtney, she came round to mine not even that long ago. It was a few months ago, but like so many of my friends have now said, like, you've really improved recently because I upgraded my decks. Yeah, there's you never stop learning at all. So yeah, it takes a while.
Brilliant. Love that.
Yeah, there's always something new to learn, and I think with all the newer equipment coming out as well, it just kind of like, it's a bit daunting at first, but once you know what you're doing, then there's always something new to learn, always a new blend to find, and like something to perfect.
Yeah. And exactly, you said that you just recently graduated from uni.
Yeah, graduating next year, but I've just finished. So
amazing. And so what are you studying? Something that's like related to music, or is that sort of something else?
Studying popular music performance at BIM.
Oh wow,
that's been really helpful. But I'm studying vocals, so my discipline was obviously vocals, singing. So, but I've used that a lot to my advantage in drum and bass, collabed with a lot of artists, and it's also opened a lot of new doors to work with other artists as well. Yeah.
Nice. And so who would you both say that some of your who were some of your artistic influences? So who do you sort of look to, and this can be anyone from within the scene, outside the scene. I'm always interested to hear like sort of artistic influences that people take on.
I'd say women-wise in the industry, I mean, it's got to be like Harriet Jackson, Nia Archives, Cara, Kaz is doing really well.
Yeah.
I had some others, but I can't remember now. But yeah, like there's obviously with women in the scene, it's a very male-dominated industry, and it's so refreshing to see all these women like doing really, really well in the scene. So yeah, there are a few women. When I first started going to festivals, my first festival was Nostock, which is near where I used to live, up in Bromyard. And when I was in like the cubicles listening to Andy C, I really, all the stuff from like Ram Records. So yeah, like watching Andy C, that was quite a big influence, and he's like at the top. So
yeah.
Say Frenetic.
Oh, yeah, Frenetic.
Yeah, she brings a lot to the table, mixing with like 4 decks. 3 is a juggle. And Solar for writing, she's signed to records. They're a very big label to look up to. Same with like Emily Mackis, she's making moves at the moment. Nikki Black Market, Pinks and Nathan are part of Unorthodox, promoting like LGBTQ+. Obviously collectives like Sisterhood, Just Be, Collective, D&B. There's just like Vault Recordings as well, Off the Block. There's just a lot of collectives, a lot of artists breaking through at the moment. It's well nice to see.
It's a very exciting time for the scene. Do you listen to any other genres of music, or is it just drum and bass?
To be honest, I only really put drum and bass on, but I've always loved Eminem. My dog's called Marshall. And now I've just got a cat, and he's called Curtis after 50 Cent. But yeah, I'd probably just say Eminem, D&B. I still love garage. I just don't really particularly put it on anymore unless I'm really in the mood for something else.
I listen to a lot of stuff. I'm in a progressive metal band, so I have to listen to, well, I don't have to listen, but it's nice to listen to a lot of similar genres to get inspiration for writing. I like to listen to a lot of garage, a lot of R&B. Yeah, but I'll listen to whatever, to be honest.
Kind of open. So you're in a progressive metal band?
Love it. Catalyze with a K.
Catalyze with a K. So you vocalist there?
Yeah, front woman. Just come out of uni, so I had a few gigs. Just released a single. Yeah.
Good stuff. So busy, properly into the music. I love that though. I mean, I think it is. I would say I listen mostly to drum and bass and jungle, but every now and again I might throw on some old school R&B. Sometimes you just want to calm it down a bit. Or going back to my sort of late 90s, early 2000s hip hop as well, like back when it made sense. These days I can't quite get on board. But yeah, brilliant stuff. So Chillz, you sort of alluded to there, like, being in this male dominated industry, like how has that been for you both? Like what challenges have you come up against, or do you find that's been any barriers that you've come up against, being two female DJs in a male dominated industry?
I mean, it's not easy, but I think like the era that we're in now, we're in the best position that we ever have been, really. I've had like one stick out experience. I mean, other than being a female DJ, you do get little comments on like live streams and stuff, like just like troll comments. And when I was playing on a headline show, it was a really big headliner, and the tour manager didn't realise that I was going on next, and he spoke to me like I've never ever been spoken to before by anyone in my life, and was like swearing and screaming in my face like, who the F are you? And just kept repeating himself, and I was like, I'm on next. And then once he realised, he just turned his back and didn't say anything, and I was literally like close to tears. And I messaged the performer after, didn't know if they'd read it or not. I just said, look, I just want to make you aware of the situation, because the thing is, if I wasn't as strong as I am, and it happened to another upcomer or a female as well, you know, you don't know what effect that will take on them. And they did message me back, and they were like, "Oh, thanks for letting me know. Like I'm going to look into this." But yeah, that's the worst thing that's happened. But yeah, you do get like unwanted attention, like yeah, just little muggy comments. But other than that, you know, touch wood, I've been alright.
Yeah. How do you deal with that? So like, how do you know, not let that get into your head and do what you're there to do?
I don't know. I just don't really.
I think the best thing to do is like rise above it.
Yeah. I do rise above it. To be fair, I've been live on TikTok a lot recently. I just go blocked. I've got a mic now. I'm just like blocked, and then that's it. Just move on, really. But yeah.
Yeah, I just think the best way to. Well, the thing is, if you bite back, you're just
feeding into it.
Yeah, feeding into it, and you're not setting like the best example for other artists and up and comers as well, because it's not worth it either, because you're always going to get a new person giving you a comment, or it's a difficult one, because there's always going to be something going on. But as long as, I feel like the more we address it, the less likely it is to happen in these environments.
Yeah. Have you had any challenging experiences yourself?
Yeah, I mean, being a vocalist as well, you've got to have like a certain voice to fit certain subgenres of drum and bass. So I've been told like my vocals are a bit too fairy for this sort of vibe. But then like other artists have worked with me that give me that vibe, that same vibe, and they're completely fine with it. So I feel like it's just finding what works for you and the best way to deal with it as well. Because as much as it can upset you, there's always something good to look forward to. Like as an artist, you've always got something going on. Like even as an up and comer, you're always pushing to do then like something good, like the next big thing for you. So there's always something to look forward to. So there's no point referring back to all of like the harsh comments you've got, or that one time that maybe a guy came up to you and said something bad to you behind the decks, like, "Oh, you're only here because you're a girl." Yeah. Happened before multiple times. Like, or the way that you look, you're only behind the decks because you're wearing that.
Yeah.
When actually it comes down to talent, not the way that I look. So I could have a plastic bag over my head and probably still mix better than some of the people.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So letting the talent speak for itself, and it sounds like really just keeping looking at the bigger picture, because trolls are going to be there, aren't they? And there's always going to be criticism, whether it's constructive or not. But yeah, just letting the talent shine through. And I do see that a lot. I'm in a few sort of Facebook groups and things. I do see some really unnecessary comments directed towards female DJs, particularly about what they wear or what they might look like. And I'm just like, it's not important. Like, people can wear what the hell they want, and we're there to listen to the music and to appreciate the skill. Yeah. Well, how would you describe your DJ styles?
To be honest, I like all D&B. I don't like really hard like Belgian jump up. But do you know what? The more I play out, the more I'm like, I do love playing like the jump up that I play. Like I do genuinely love playing it. I've always said that, you know, I want to be a DJ that just plays everything really. You know, I play rollers, jungle, jump up, minimal. Yeah, sometimes I'll just look at the rave that I'm playing at. I think, oh, okay, look at the other artists. And then a lot of the time, like, you have to play to the crowd. You know, if they're feeling another vibe than another one, then, you know, you got to play to the crowd at the end of the day.
Yeah, love that.
Well, I'm a jungle. Minimal, techie, steppy drums. Mix 140 as well. Start mixing a bit of garage as well.
Nice.
But yeah, drums will. think drum and bass is where my heart lies, and just minimal, fast, techie drum, like the really quick hi-hats. Like, yeah, there's a good bass underneath it, but are you going to bring those hi-hats in? That's what I'm waiting for. What makes the energy come even bigger? Yeah, it's just drum and bass, really.
Yeah, love it. Oh, that's brilliant. And you also do some producing, you said, as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, is that quite new? Is that quite a new thing for you? You've been doing that for a while as well.
In probably about 2.5 years ago now in uni, because we was doing a production module. Had 2 releases so far. They're quite minimal, nice rollers. Be nice to like incorporate some of my own vocals on top of it. At the moment, I'm just kind of exploring like some jungle. Made a bit of 140 recently. Yeah, just as and when I can. It's difficult to juggle everything.
Yeah.
And like finding the time to fit everything in, because there's not enough hours in the day.
No, I can only imagine what that must be like for you. So it sounds like you've both been on some really good lineups so far. What would you say was some of your most memorable moments, and what made them so special?
So this year I've been booked for Nostock, which is literally the first festival that I ever went to. So that's like bucket list stuff for me. Obviously D&B Collective, we're both playing at on Saturday. That's just like a silly lineup. Yeah, it's like absolutely massive. You know, it's been really hyped up. The artists on it are massive. Yeah, off the top of my head, they're 2. I can't think of any right now.
I'd say my birthday bash of Sisterhood. That was one to remember. That was a good one. Had all my friends on the lineup. All of my nearest and dearest there, which was nice.
Sorry, say that again.
All of my nearest and dearest there, which was nice. It's really difficult to choose.
Yeah,
like a select
I went
few.
on my Instagram, I'd be alright.
Yeah, like I'd say all of the collective D&B bookings I've had, ones to remember. Supporting Goldie last year and playing at the Commonwealth Games. Yeah, they're really like significant sets, like memorable sets. The Commonwealth was like family friendly, and I was DJing for some of the MCs that I go to uni with, so I was mixing like hip hop as well. Yeah, it was a really nice vibe, and it was cool to see like all the kids dancing to drum and bass.
Yeah. So what was the setup there? So I'm trying to imagine how there were DJs at the Commonwealth Games.
It was at like this festival site right next to where the basketball courts were.
Oh, wow.
So it was like Made Festival partnered with the Commonwealth, so they just had this big stage. And I think Frenetic actually closed the night. But it was just really cool. We had loads of food stands everywhere, and then like some of the sportsmen from like some of the basketball players came to watch. Yeah, it was really cool.
Nice, bringing it to the masses. I love that. So are there any positive experiences that you could share that you've had so far on your journey?
I'd say quite a lot of the collectives that I've played for are introducing safe spaces. So Sisterhood and High Key recordings, they're also based in Birmingham. Keep Hush, I've got a safe space policy. Just creates like a more positive environment, and people feel more looked after. I'd say obviously when the promoters have their best interest for the artist at heart, I think that's one of the main things that I look out for, and quite a lot of the brands and people that I'm booked with, I will like look into, look at the lineups, like for diversity, obviously safe spaces, if they're catering for myself as an artist, and what I really want out of that set and event. Most of the brands, pretty much all of the brands that I work with, they do cater that for that.
That's really positive to hear. Can you tell us a little bit more about safe spaces? And is that something you can see, say, if you were looking at a flyer, say, would it be clear that that was something that they were providing?
Went to Heike's first birthday at the Rainbow in Digbeth the other weekend, and they have posters printed off with their safe space policy all around the venue. So if you need to go and double check, then it's there. So just a little bit more comforting that the advice is like right in front of you, instead of having to go out of your way and being like, oh, but is there a safe space? Now I have to go and look for it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really positive to hear. Chillz?
So I'd say just sisterhood, like as a whole, you know, being an all-female collective, you know, hosting events and having good feedback, especially like when you come off the decks and, you know, there's people stood there, oh, you know, that was sick. And another thing as well, I think it's so important, especially for big artists, to like, I've had some really good interactions with like big artists, and like a lot of them, you know, then they're not arrogant, you know, they will speak to, you know, upcomers, and I think that's really important in the scene, because we are an underground scene, but we are growing so much, especially, you know, with social media and TikTok especially. Yeah, it's just really refreshing, you know, when they give time out to you know, other artists, smaller artists, and ravers as well. I think that's so important. I'll always have time for, you know, supporters and ravers, because, you know, I was a raver, and I think that's really important as well to
Couldn't be where we are.
Yeah, exactly. You know, most people are ravers before, you know, they're DJs. That's why they get into it.
And also I feel like, because although like Sisterhood is an all-female collective, we are quite diverse in like we collaborate with other brands. We don't just have all-female lineups. It's inclusive.
Yeah, I like that's good. And that's when you say inclusive, that's what we're talking about. Is it's not all female lineups. It's making sure that there is that mixture.
Like, it isn't about like, oh, but we're just all females and that's it. Like, we do want to collaborate with other brands.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, but just because we're the minority, that's, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not
like one bill fits everything. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So.
Yeah. And what advice would you give? Because it sounds like, you know, Chillz, as you were sort of speaking there, you know, you're thinking about what it was like for you as a raver. You're thinking about what it was like, you know, what it's like for you when you see other sort of DJs who have been around for a long time, and, you know, getting that sort of them taking up the time to speak with you and how much that means to you. What advice would you both give to any upcoming DJs or other artists in the scene who are just trying to make their space their pace their space and place on the scene?
So I would say, like, number one thing is networking. You know, going to raves, supporting, not always just going to the big lineups. You know, supporting if you know, stumble across an upcoming DJ on, you know, social media or whatever. You know, reaching out to them and, you know, saying, oh, I really like that mix, and going to see, you know, them at certain raves, and you get talking with people, and that's really, really important in the D&B scene. It's a lot like, you know, who you know as well. But yeah, I would just say get out there. You know, don't worry about what content you're going to be putting out. Just do it. Just put stuff out there. Get started, and then before you know it, you'll look back and you're like, oh, you know, I've done. You'll look back and be like, well, I've done more now than what I would have if I would have been just worrying about what I'm going to do, type of thing.
Just following on from the networking, if like for an up and comer, if instead of just asking for sets, go to events, like go and support the brand that you want to be playing for, make it known that you're an upcoming DJ, but like you like what the brand's about. You're not just there just to get a set and then like leave after that. Like go and support the big artists and the smaller ones, because obviously the headliners used to be up and coming DJs as well. And obviously up and comers want to be where the headliners are. So everyone needs to be supported in that sense, and do what you love. Like if you're not doing it because you're not passionate about the music, like if you're doing it because you're not and you don't have passion for the music, then what are you really doing it for? Just to get big? Because it doesn't always happen for everyone. And if you've got that passion and drive, it really shows, and people pick up on that and they go, okay, I want to book you because you show that. Whereas if you don't have that drive and passion, people will pick up on it, that you only just want to get there for popularity, a bit of clout, when it's not worth it. Like the adrenaline and the rush after coming off of a set that you know that you've done really well, like minimal amount of clangs or whatever, and you come off and you're like, yeah, that was sick. But it's because you're enjoying it, whereas you haven't just come off because you're like, yeah, I just played to like 1,000 people. Did you see that? Yeah. No. Did you hear all the blends I just did? I don't care if there was someone there. Like, did you hear all of the blends I just did? Like, do it because you enjoy it, not because, like, yeah, it's cool to get something out of it, but I'm doing it because I want to do it and because I love it.
Yeah, I love it, because the passion has to be there, doesn't it? Otherwise it's a lot of hard work for something, you know, you have to love it. Otherwise I can't imagine how there just won't be longevity. I think if you don't love it, you'll burn out. You know, there wouldn't be enough to sort of drive you through. And it was a really good tip that you both gave there about the sort of, because a lot of people have talked about networking online, and actually it's a really good tip about how to network offline, because the offline world still exists.
Yeah, people remember your face that way. I've got bright green and blue hair, so if I go up to someone and I'm like, hello, and my hair's blowing in the rave, they're going to remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's such a good shout though, like going to those smaller events, like you said, Chillz, as well, because it's likely to be more relaxed and a bit more intimate, and you're likely then to meet the artists and things like that afterwards.
And intimate venues always pop off, like Dark Horse, a small capacity venue where Sisterhood put on monthly events, always pops off, like, and it doesn't feel like you're playing to loads of people. Like the vibes there's really nice people. Yeah, it's sick.
Love it. Oh, well, I want to speak to Cam, because we've talked a lot about the Sisterhood, and those who don't know what the Sisterhood is, so we're going to speak to the founder, Cam. But are you both going to be around to come back for a round of this or that?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely brilliant. Oh, what a fantastic conversation. Hello, good to see you.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
Yeah, good. It's late. I have to say, I'm not an evening person, but we fit this in where we can fit it in.
I'm in bed by now, so this is a late night for me. Unless I'm working, of course, but yes, get the sleep in while you can.
No, exactly. So you are the founder of Sisterhood Birmingham.
I am. I'm the instigator, the troublemaker. Yes, I am, and very proud to say that I am as well, because I think we're doing some really good things right now, and we're having a lot of fun as well, which is always a bonus.
Definitely important. So how did you get into your activism and wanting to, really promote diversity and inclusivity in the music scene?
I think it's kind of snowballed. I did an event at the Dark Horse, which just happened to be an all-female lineup. That was before Sisterhood was born. So we had a headline DJ come down from Manchester. And I thought, I'm just going to put girls on the lineup. I'm not going to shout about it. I'm not going to make a big, it's all females. I just wanted to put the event on, just the same as you'd put a normal event on, and if it was all guys, you wouldn't go around saying, hey, it's all guys on the lineup or it's all girls. I just wanted to put the event on and see how it went. And it was really successful, and it was successful from the point of view where all the ravers had a really, really good time. But all the artists had a really, really good time too. But there was just a different energy, a different vibe that night. It was something different that I hadn't seen before. or experienced it in an event. Just something that I couldn't quite put my finger on, and I thought, do you know what, this really needs to happen again, because it was just something really special. So I thought, what am I going to do? And then the more I started looking into things and who's on what lineups, because I had a little break from the scene for a while. I wasn't kind of really watching what, the big lineups were doing. Maybe I fell out of love with it a little bit, got a little bit bored of it being the same old names on the same old flyers. So when I really started looking into it again, I thought, something not quite right here. This doesn't really seem to be a fair representation of the talent I know that's around, especially the talent that I've got, around me with all these amazing females. So I thought, right, let's see what we can do. And I decided that from that point that we'd try and create something for the ladies, and obviously female identifying peeps out there as well. And that was really the start of it, and how it came to be. But the more I've been doing it, and the more you start researching, you realise that what's going on in the music industry as a whole is not really a fair representation of the talent and the people who deserve the opportunities out there. So, I'm trying to just level out the playing field a little bit, and promote the people that I think deserve it, not who other people say that should deserve it, the people that I've got around me. And minority groups, drum and bass and music's for everybody at the end of the day. Nobody gets to say who should be allowed to play, or who shouldn't love drum and bass, or who should be able to stand behind a set of decks. If you've got a talent, it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. It's everybody deserves a chance as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. And how do you use your platform to promote the work that you do, the activism work that you do?
Yeah, well, our platform, because of the nature of the brand, everything that goes on our platform is related to inclusion and diversity. But I always try and connect with like-minded brands out there as well. So you've got people like EQ50, Just Be, unorthodox brand that's coming through. I try and share everything that they've got going on as well. So connect with everybody that's on that kind of same mission through our social media, and sharing, and just trying to just give everything a share. Do you know what I mean? Sharing all these lovely artists that we've got on board, actively promoting. I especially want to be actively promoting black women at the moment. I feel that the underrepresentation of black females in the scene is absolutely criminal. So yeah, I just want to be able to do things as fairly as I can from where I am and what we're doing.
Yeah, and that can be quite challenging. Have you actually faced any backlash or resistance in your efforts?
Do you know what? I'm really lucky to be able to say that up to now, I really haven't. And I've been really lucky to be able to say that. But everybody that I've kind of come into contact with, they can't speak highly enough of what we're doing. They want to support. I'm getting people like venues and things from Birmingham approaching me saying that they want to get on board with what I'm doing. So I've been genuinely blessed with what's gone on up to now, and the opportunities and things that we've been able to create so far. So yeah, I'm blessed in that respect.
Yeah, and I guess I'm really happy to hear that, because I guess it kind of highlights how much of a need there is for people like you to thank you for the work you do, to actually organise this stuff, because the fact that there hasn't been much pushback, it seems like it's quite welcomed. It just needed organising.
I think so, but I think maybe the way that I kind of go about things is maybe makes me a little bit more accepted, because I don't want to preach. I don't want to ram it down your throat that put more women on your lineups and be controversial. I want to lead by example and set some good things out there, and hopefully that people will follow, rather than saying you're doing it wrong. Kill them with kindness, show them the way to go, and hopefully that people will see that what we're doing is successful, and maybe people will follow.
Yeah, and I think it's quite nice the way it's been described as well, that it's about inclusion, and that it's not necessarily about having, you know, all female or female identifying lineups. It's actually just having a more, like you said, like a more level playing field.
Definitely, yeah. I want to be able to, obviously, inclusion is everybody. So I don't want to turn around and say to any guys that may potentially message us in the future, oh, do you want to work? Oh, no, you can't do that because you guys. It's about unity at the end of the day. It's about everybody coming together and enjoying the music that we love, and performing with each other side by side, capturing that vibe. It's for everybody. It's for anybody that wants to get involved. Obviously, we've got our monthly events that we do, which do tend to be just the girls. That's kind of our little safe space where we all get together once a month. But as for things like collaborations and working with other people, that's always going to be on the cards. We want to be able to work alongside everybody that we can.
I love that. So you do your monthly sort of members type thing. Are there any other sort of events or initiatives that you do to promote the work that you do, or even to?
Yes. So we've got a co-founder of a record label as well, 0121 Recordings, and then quite often we do like a collaborative event with the label and then Sisterhood as well. So we get a group of guys and a group of girls together, maybe do some back-to-back sets there. I've got loads of exciting things that I really want to speak about, but I'm going to keep a few of them under my hat at the moment because I just want to keep it a little bit secret for a little bit longer. But yeah, we want to work with as many people as possible in Brum. I've got some events hopefully coming up there is definitely an event coming up at the Rainbow in August, and I'm actually going to go to a meeting after here with quite a big venue in Brum that's asked me to come and do a monthly takeover there as a daytime party. So yeah, lots of things coming up soon, and lots of people to work with, and loads to look forward to.
Oh, amazing! What is the scene like in Birmingham? I'm embarrassed to say I've never actually raved in Birmingham before. It's not that I'm in London, so it's not too far away. But what is the scene? Is it healthy? Is it active? Like, what's it like?
It's great. There's always something going on. It's popping off in Birmingham at the moment. It seems to have really hit gas mark 10 again. I think with maybe the summers approaching, everybody's starting to come out of the house a bit more because lockdown kind of really messed things up for everybody. So I think off the back of COVID, I think the scene's in really quite a good place in Brum, with lots of stuff going on, lots to choose from, and lots of events going on in the little surrounding areas as well on the outskirts of Brum. So yeah, really good. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I guess like Coventry, Wolverhampton, or even closer to Birmingham.
Yeah, I think there's a few bits and pieces that go on in Stourbridge as well now and again. There's always something going on, but yeah, definitely. Brum's definitely a place to check out.
So what impact would you say that a lack of diversity has on the music industry, and why is it important that we do talk about inclusion and diversity?
I think because there's so much raw talent in the UK, you know, with certain groups of society not really being fairly represented, I don't think it's a fair representation of the talent that we've got here. Things can tend to become a little bit watered down, maybe a little bit commercialised. What you've got to remember is that drum and bass and jungle music is born of black music and culture at the end of the day. And if you're not including those groups of society, you are actually messing with the formula of the music. And that's I truly believe that in my heart. And that's why I will always rep my beautiful black queens in this industry, is because that's where it came from at the end of the day, and we have to respect that.
Brilliant. I absolutely love that. And I do. There is always, I mean, as someone who loves jungle, drum and bass, and I rave mostly in London, sometimes Bristol. And sometimes it is quite interesting to see, like, there aren't many other black women in the rave, like not behind the decks or on the other side either. And I always think to myself, like, that is interesting is one word to use, but it's actually quite unsettling sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we need to rep that side of the culture hard, because, you know, if we're not representing it and taking it forward to the next generation, you know, what's going to happen to the music at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's definitely going to lose its essence. So what would you say your key takeaways are for our listeners?
The one thing I did want to speak about before I go is
Please.
there are times when being in the drum and bass scene has its moments. It's like anything in life, I suppose. There are times when, you can find quite lonely times. Social media kind of takes over. But whatever you want to do in the D&B scene, whether you want to be a producer, whether you just want to be a raver, never ever forget what led you to listen to that music in the first place, and always keep that in your heart. Because, there's been days where I thought to myself, do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. It's not fun, or there's things that are happening around me that I don't agree with, but I'll never ever stop loving jungle and drum and bass, and that'll keep me going to my dying day. So as long as it's there, I'm here, and we're not going anywhere.
Yay. Oh, I absolutely love it. And so before you do go, Cam, I wonder, how can people get involved, get in touch with you? What's the best way for them to reach out?
Okay, so I'd say if you're in the area, every third week of the month, we're at the Dark Horse. It's a safe space for anyone to come down. I'm always there to come and have a chat to. If you're not about, you can always drop me a message on Instagram, or you can send me an email. So I'm always about, and I'm always there, and I'm really open and easy to talk to, and I will chat to anybody. So all you got to do is love jungle and drum and bass and shout at me.
And you're in. Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited for people to hear, to get you out there. I think more people definitely need to know about it, and hopefully it will inspire other people in other cities and towns to do something similar. There might be someone out there who's having the same thoughts as you, and maybe wants to do it over in, I don't know, Newcastle. I don't know, it's random cities that came to mind, but yeah.
Anything is possible. We can spread our wings pretty much anywhere at this point, I think.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Thank you so much.
Having me. It's been a pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure. So I want to do a round of this or that. I don't know if you want to say for the this or that round as well.
I do, yeah.
We need you all back for the this and that then.
Really small, aren't we?
Like a happy family. So I'm gonna say the this or that, and then you'll all answer the question. So you're all gonna answer the same questions, because I want to know all of your answers. So they're really random, and they're mostly unserious. The first one is: would you rather know how to teleport or read minds?
Oh, because if you could teleport, you could be everywhere so easily and on time. Not that I'm not on time, but like outing myself there. But
I'm definitely down for teleport.
no, I'd teleport, because if I could read everyone's minds, I'd just overthink like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd go absolutely mad if I could. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would like to do that, but yeah, I'd probably as well.
Yeah, I don't want to know what anyone else is thinking.
No,
I'm going in
keep
my
that to yourself.
Some things are just best not known. Just like, absolutely. Film or series?
Well, I'm going to say series.
Film.
Yeah, I'm going to say film.
Okay. Festival or club?
I love festivals. I love a good festival.
I do love a good festival, but I'm going to say club.
I'll be different and say festival.
When it comes to sounds, do you prefer digital or analog?
Digital.
No, I say digital.
Analog. Good sounds.
Brilliant. When you're listening to music, do you prefer to listen to music through speakers or headphones?
Ginormous speakers.
Yeah, if you can boost the volume up really loud. But also, I love like just shutting off the world and putting my headphones on. And I have some nice overhead headphones. So yeah, just nothing beats just shutting out the world and just having like the bass straight into your ears.
Nice. So we've had 2 speakers, 1 headphone. Ginormous speakers. That has to be done. City break or beach holiday?
Beach holiday.
Beach holiday. See, we live in the city. It's too overwhelming.
Need the sun. Would you rather have an all expenses paid trip around the world or £100,000 in cash?
100k, so I just make more.
I want to go around the world.
Yeah, I want to go around the world. That's a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Chillz just went pure business. I'll take the money and I'll just
this is the thing. I want to
travel,
but I want to get a van and convert that. So with the 100k, I could do that, and then I could invest it and do everything really.
At least you know what you do with it. Okay, last one. Would you rather have to always wear really, really heavy boots or not be able to wear shoes at all?
I'd much rather be barefoot,
Same.
Be more in touch with the
down with that 100%. Yeah. No shoes.
Heavy boots, no.
Your feet get harder, don't they?
I'm only small as it is. I wouldn't be able to walk with heavyweight boots.
We'll have to bring the decks to you.
Me.
Shoes.
Oh, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad that we got to find this time that you got the chance to be here and tell us all about the wonderful work that you're all doing, and thank you so much for it. Where can we find you? So what's the best place for us to find you?
So the best place to get us at the moment is going to be our Instagram, so that's at Sisterhood Birmingham.
Yeah, I'd say Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Chillz DMB.
Ekstatic DMB.
Well, I'll make sure that I link all of your socials in the captions and in the show notes. But once again, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. Thanks, darling.
Thank you.
Thank you.